Cartoons, cartoons, cartoons. You grew up loving them in theaters and on television. Rekindle your love for Betty Boop, Felix the Cat, Bugs Bunny, Popeye, Superman, and all their animated friends. Make new friends with Bosco, Colonel Bleep, and the Funny Company Gang. The laughter never stops on Comedy MX channels. So return with us now to those golden days of yesteryear.
Come with me, come and see all the wonders there will be in my stories, in my songs, in everything where fun belongs. We'll meet heroes, giants bold, visit lands both hot and cold, have magic tricks to shiver your skin, laughs galore with animals in our world of fun. Pied Piper House.
You know, sometimes good fortune comes to us in the most unexpected way, and just when things look blackest. Our tale today is about a poor young man named Peter who set off to seek his fortune carrying all his worldly goods on his back. But he was so simple and trusting that before long he got cheated out of everything he owned.
Help an old woman earn an honest penny? Buy something?
Indeed I would, old one, but I have no money.
Then I'll trade you something for what you've got on your back. This valuable old horn, for instance.
Is it really valuable?
Indeed it is. For you could make your fortune by playing it for money.
Say, that's right. Good enough, old one. You've made a bargain.
I have indeed. For the horn is worthless. It won't even play.
But the horn was not as worthless as the old woman imagined. It was a magic horn, and although it would not play, it could never be lost or stolen, for it always returned to its rightful owner. And it had another magic quality which Peter was soon to discover.
Now, friends, I'm going to play a concert for you, and you may pay me as much as it pleases you. Ready? Hey, wait a minute! Where did everyone go?
Unfortunately, it was the same wherever he went. At the first on the magic horn, everyone disappeared. And poor Peter didn't earn a single penny. He got hungrier and hungrier until finally he learned that the king was looking for a shepherd to herd the royal sheep.
Well, I might as well try that. At least I ought to be able to use this old thing to call sheep.
Mind you do a good job. All the shepherds I've had so far have lost a lot of my prize sheep.
I'll do my best, sire.
And so he began his new life as a shepherd.
Uh-oh, the sheep are wandering. I'll bring them back with my horn.
But as usual, the opposite happened.
This is too much. Can't I do anything right? I traded everything I had for this, and all it's brought me is trouble. I ought to throw it away. I wonder. No, that's ridiculous. Still, maybe.
At last, Peter had discovered the real secret of the magic horn.
My goodness! Won't the king be surprised?
And indeed, the king was.
Look at that.
Isn't he clever?
I wonder how he managed it.
He must have done it with that old horn of his. He doesn't have anything else.
We've got to get that horn away from him and find out for ourselves.
But it wasn't as easy as it sounded.
There you are. There was nothing to it.
Nothing to it is right.
Yes, Father dear. The bag is empty.
What? That young man has a few things to explain.
And thinking that he was to be given a reward for his good work, Peter came happily into the throne room.
We want to know how that horn works.
Well, it's like this.
Never mind the explanations. Show us.
You want me to show you right here, Your Majesty?
Of course he does. He's the king, and that's his command.
Very well, then.
And suddenly the entire royal family found themselves taking some unusual exercise.
Where did you get that horn? What did it cost you?
It cost me all my worldly goods, and I'm beginning to think it was worth it.
Well, it's a clever toy. I'll give you 50 horses.
No.
20 casks of treasure.
No.
A position as my prime minister.
No. I don't want any of those things, Your Majesty. I only want the princess.
No, never. It simply won't do.
Now listen here.
Your Majesty! Your Majesty! Terrible news! We're being invaded! The enemy are coming through the hills! They'll be here any minute!
What? Call out the army.
We can't, sire. The army has run away.
Well, call out.
Call out Peter, Father.
Yes, I will fight them, sire.
My boy, you can have the princess, the horses, the treasure, in any position you ask.
Yes, anything. Only save us.
Thank you, but your lovely daughter is all I ask.
And so Peter went out and faced the enemy single-handed. And so the old woman's nasty bargain brought Peter happiness and good fortune. And everything turned out for the best after all. Say, I wonder where that magic horn is now.
Come with me, come and see all the wonders there will be in my stories, in my songs, in everything where fun belongs. We'll meet heroes, giants bold, visit lands both hot and cold, have magic tricks to shiver your skin, laughs galore with animals in our world of fun. Pied Piper house.
What is the true value of a beautiful flower? Is it the price you have to pay to buy it, or is it the pleasure it gives you? Very often, people don't understand the true value of things. Our tale today is about such a person. A beautiful but foolish princess who attached too much importance to the wrong things. She was the neighbor of a wealthy young prince who had everything anybody could want, except a wife. One day, when he was out riding, he saw his royal neighbor for the first time.
She's the most beautiful princess I've ever seen. What a lovely queen she would be. I will ask her to marry me. But what shall I send her as a gift? She's as wealthy as I am. Surely gold or jewels would mean nothing to her. Perhaps something simple would please her. I will give her my two most beautiful possessions, my rose and my nightingale, and you will take them to her.
The princess's father, who was a great emperor, received the servant graciously.
You are welcome to my court, young man. You may state your business.
My master, the prince, wishes to ask for the hand of the princess in marriage and begs you accept these two gifts on behalf of your daughter as tokens of his love.
Oh, good. Presents for me. The prince is very rich, so it should be something gorgeous.
Oh, very nice. Yes, really very beautiful.
It's real. Oh, Father, how can you call it beautiful? Why, it's an ordinary rose. Anyone can pick one. How horrid. How horrid.
Well, now, let's have a look at the other casket.
It sounds nice, but it's not gold. Where do you wind it up?
Your Highness, this bird is real.
Real? How shocking. How shocking.
Well, my dear, actually, I thought it was rather nice.
Oh, how can you be so silly? The prince is the richest man for miles around, and all he can send me is a stupid old rose and an ordinary bird you can't even wind up.
But in spite of her behavior, the prince still thought a great deal about her.
She's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. She must marry me.
But, sire, she didn't even want to see you.
Never mind. She is so lovely. I must get to know her better. Here, take my things. Go back to our castle and wait until I send for you.
Then the young man put his plan into action.
Any jobs for a willing worker?
You?
I should think the pigsty would be the place for you.
So the young prince went to work as a swineherd.
Good day to your highness.
The haughty princess would not consider speaking to a common swineherd. But there was one person who was willing to be friendly.
They don't like to have you in the kitchen, so I brought you your dinner.
Why, that was kind of you.
I must go now. The princess doesn't know I'm out.
Would she mind if she knew?
Oh, yes. She has a terrible temper.
Little maid came to visit him as often as she could, and he would question her about her mistress. But the haughty young princess had only contempt for the grubby young swineherd in his muddy sty. And then one day...
Look, I've something to show you.
Oh, it is very beautiful.
Where is that music coming from?
It's coming from the pigsty, Your Highness.
Tell the swineherd to come to me.
Hardly believing that he was going to talk to the princess at last, the prince came forward with his musical box.
Is that yours?
Yes, your highness.
I want it.
But surely your highness wouldn't want anything so plain.
It is very plain, but nonetheless I want it. And I'm accustomed to getting what I want.
Yes, your highness. But it's mine. I made it, and I won't give it away.
Oh, all right then. How much do you want for it?
Money won't buy it.
Nonsense. Money will buy anything. Now, name your price.
Then the prince decided to teach the proud princess a lesson.
Well, what does he want?
Oh, Your Highness, it's too shocking.
Oh, whisper it to me then. Certainly not.
Well, that's my price. 100 kisses from you, princess.
You can kiss one of my maids.
No.
Oh, how tiresome this all is. Very well, then. I'll pay. Stand around, all of you, and hide me. And you better keep count, too, and see that he plays fair. 1, 2, 3, 4.
My word, what's all the commotion down by the pigsty? I'd better see what's going on.
98, 99, 100.
Good gracious, what is all this?
Now, look what I've got.
Yes, but...
Oh, Papa, do be quiet and listen. Why doesn't it play? I paid the price and now it won't work. You're a cheat.
No, your highness, you are the cheat. I offered you my love and you spurned me. Yet you would kiss a stranger for a simple music box.
Then you are the prince who wants to marry me.
I don't want to marry you anymore in spite of your beauty. I have learned that appearance can be deceiving.
Well, really, young man,
The beauty of this music box is not on the outside, but inside. Here, my dear. Here is the lady of my choice. Her good nature is far more pleasing than your beauty, princess. I've learned a lesson, and I hope you have too. Good day, your highness.
So let that be a lesson for all of us. It isn't always what a person looks like that matters, but what he or she is really like.
Come with me, come and see all the wonders there will be in my stories, in my songs, in everything where fun belongs. We'll meet heroes, giants bold, visit lands both hot and cold, have magic tricks to shiver your skin, laughs galore with animals in our world of fun. Pied Piper House.
I know all of you like to get presents. But I'll bet none of you ever got presents like the ones that were given to the three brothers in our story. They had each gone out into the world to seek their fortunes. And when they decided to go home again, each one was given a gift by his employer. The oldest brother had worked for a carpenter.
I made you a wonderful tape. Watch. Dinner is served.
Oh, thank you. With this table, I will never be hungry again.
On his way home, he stopped for the night at an inn.
We have very little here. You'll have to share a meal with the other guests.
I wouldn't think of depriving anyone. Dinner is served. Won't you join me?
But that night, while the oldest brother lay sleeping, the magic table was stolen and an ordinary table put in its place. The villain? A rascally innkeeper.
My son, what have you brought with you?
A wonderful table. We shall never be hungry again. Watch. Dinner is served.
The second brother had been working for a miller, and he too received a parting gift.
In return for faithful service, I'm giving you this fine donkey. He won't pull anything or carry any bundles, but watch. Bray!
Gold coin! I will never be poor again.
But on the way home, he happened to stop at the very same inn where his older brother had stayed.
I haven't enough money on me to pay for the meal, but if you'll excuse me a moment. Pray!
And that night, the wily innkeeper played the same trick again. When the second son got back to his father's house,
I'll soon change your long faces. Our worries are over. We shall never be poor again. Watch. Pray.
well, the third brother had been working for a farmer.
This parting gift may not look very exciting, but it will be useful if you're ever in danger. Watch. Out of the sack.
Oh, now, wait a minute. Why should it hit me?
It won't. It only hits those who deserve it. Into the sack.
So the third brother went off to his home, where things had gone from bad to worse.
What's the matter?
I've now grown too old to work. Must depend on my sons to support me.
We would never have gone hungry again if the innkeeper hadn't stolen my wonderful table. And we'd have been wealthy and never wanted for anything if he hadn't stolen my fine donkey.
And what did you bring home from your travels, my son?
Just an old stick in a sack.
Is that all? Then we're really done for. There's no hope left for us now.
Well, we'll just have to go back to work, that's all. And since the innkeeper is now the richest man hereabouts, he's the one we must go to for jobs.
Much as the two older brothers hated the idea, that's what they did.
Hurry it up there, lazy bones. Why don't you take that sack off?
Oh, I couldn't do that. What I have is much too valuable.
What can a poor lout like you possibly have in an old sack like that?
A thing that's going to make my fortune.
That was just too much for the greedy innkeeper. He waited until the brothers were taking their well-earned rest. And then...
Out of the sack!
Oh, 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 stop it, stop! Oh, oh, please, please stop it now!
Give my brothers back the property you stole.
Yes, yes, anything. Stop!
Into the sack!
Oh, my. I'll never steal again.
So all the gifts ended up with their rightful owners. And something tells me that innkeeper never did steal anything again.
Come with me, come and see all the wonders there will be in my stories, in my songs, in everything where fun belongs. We'll meet heroes, giants bold, visit lands both hot and cold, have magic tricks to shiver your skin, laughs galore with animals in our world of fun. Pied Piper, house.
Today for Tale Time, I have a story about a man who preferred flattering words to honest affection. He was a rich merchant who had 3 beautiful daughters. One day, he decided to find out if they loved him. And so, he asked them.
Eldest daughter, how much do you love me?
How's my life, Father dear?
Very good. Very good. And how much do you love me, second daughter?
Oh, better than the whole world.
Very good. Very good. And now, youngest and most beautiful of all my daughters, how much do you love me?
Father dear, I love you as fresh meat loves salt.
What? Is that all you'll give me in return for all I've given you? Out of my house!
Not knowing where to go, the girl wandered on and on until she found herself near a marsh, where the rushes grew tall and swayed like corn. She was a clever girl and thought that if any robbers saw her, they might attack her and steal her jewels. So she made herself an outfit from the rushes which hid her finery. She put on a cap to hide her long blonde hair, and when she finished, no one would have taken her for the daughter of a wealthy man. And so she wandered on, looking for a place to stay. At last, she came to a big, grand-looking house.
What is it you want, Missy?
I wish for a night's lodging, please, ma'am. I will scrub and clean for you in return.
Well, here's luck indeed. Inside with you, dearie. Get to work on that lot over there.
The cook and the other servants soon began calling her Caporushes because of her peculiar outfit. Now, it happened that the master of the house had a very handsome son, and as it was his birthday, a huge ball was held in the house. The servants were allowed to watch from a balcony, but Caporushes refused to go down because she was a good dancer and feared that if she heard the music, she would start to dance and give herself away. But alas, she couldn't sit still. Throwing off her robe of rushes, she ran to the ballroom and started dancing. The handsome son singled her out immediately and danced with her through most of the night. Just before dawn, the young man implored her to tell him her name.
No, I cannot tell you my name, sir, and I can never, never dance with you again. I must say goodbye.
Caporushes ran upstairs as fast as she could and just had enough time to put on her robe of rushes when the servants came in.
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. The whole place is in an uproar. They're all searching for that beautiful stranger. The young master declares he will die of love if he does not find her.
Young men don't die of love. He will find someone else.
But alas, day by day, the young master grew thinner and thinner and paler. And Caporushes still said nothing. Until one day...
The doctors say that unless the young master finds that girl today...
Caporushes went and looked in at the young man, who was so weak and worn with love for her that her heart melted. And she thought of a way to revive him. She fetched the village fiddlers, and she went to his bedside and threw off her robe of rushes.
Play, fiddlers. Play your best.
You have come back, my beautiful dancer. I don't care who you are, we must be married.
Everyone from miles around came to the wedding, and among the guests was Caporushes' father, who had lost his memory with the shock of losing his youngest daughter. And when Caporushes saw him, she ordered all the food cooked without salt. So the food looked tasty, but tasted terrible.
Oh, now I remember. I remember. I had a daughter once whom I dearly loved, and when I asked her how much she loved me, she said as fresh meat loved salt, and I turned her out. But now I see she loved me best of all.
I love you both.
Daughter!
Fiddlers, strike up a merry tune.
And they all danced happily ever after.
Come with me, come and see all the wonders there will be in my stories, in my songs, in everything where fun belongs. We'll meet heroes, giants bold, visit lands both hot and cold, have magic tricks to shiver your skin, laughs galore with animals in our world of fun. Pied Piper, house,
Have you ever stopped to think that toys may have a life of their own? You don't think they do, eh? Well, they have in Storyland. Our tale today is about a little tin soldier who had more adventures in one day than most people have in their whole lives. He was a small, plain soldier and had been given as a Christmas present to a little boy who wasn't too pleased.
Why, it doesn't move. There isn't even a place to wind it up.
Give it to me, then. I've got a ballerina doll that can't do anything either. She just stands there. This silly soldier can guard my doll.
All right. I'm going to play with my wind-up soldiers.
So the little tin soldier joined the other toys on the playroom table. And even though he couldn't talk, he did a great deal of thinking.
How pretty she is. Even though I'm only a common tin soldier, I'll guard her with my life.
He has such a kind face. I wish I could reach him.
And that night, when all the household was asleep, it was the toys' turn to play. The dolls had a tea party, the mechanical soldiers marched up and down, the music box played and the top spun all by themselves. Only the little tin soldier remained steadfastly at attention, and the little doll went on holding out her arms. And neither of them moved a muscle.
I will love her as long as I live.
How I wish he would stand a little closer.
But unknown to them, they had an enemy.
I don't like the way they look at each other. The doll is mine. I must get rid of this intruder.
The next morning, the boy moved the tin soldier onto the windowsill, and the wicked Jack-in-the-Box saw his chance.
I know how to work my own spring. I'll give him a surprise.
The little soldier has fallen out.
What do I care? He can't move, so he's no good to me anyway.
I suppose I should try to call out, but one shouldn't shout when one is in uniform. I wonder if anyone will ever find me.
And before long, someone did find him.
Hey, look what I've got. He's pretty funny looking. Let's make a boat and put him in it. Here, this old paper will do.
Swiftly, the two boys fashioned a crude sailing boat, and with the little soldier standing beside the mast, they set it down in the gutter.
On your way, little man. Look at him go. Look at him go.
My word, I've always wanted to go on a voyage, but I didn't think it would be like this. If only she were here with me, I wouldn't care how rough it was.
Suddenly, the boat was swept into a covered drain.
Dear me, how dark it is. And the water is getting faster and faster. I must remain at attention whatever happens.
Then the boat shot out of the drain and into a great canal.
And it's starting to rain. This is too much. My boat's beginning to break up. My poor ballerina. Shall I ever see you again? Goodbye, world. Goodbye.
But there were more surprises in store for the little soldier. As he began to sink, a most amazing thing happened.
It's dark in here. And how this fish does twist and turn. Someone must have him on the line.
How right he was. And now the most astonishing events began.
It's awfully quiet all of a sudden. Now what's going on, I wonder? My word, that was close.
Why, look at this. Did you ever see such a thing?
It looks like my soldier, all right.
He's no good without his paint, though.
He was no use anyway. What good is a soldier that can't even march?
I'll stick him up here beside that silly doll.
Now at last, the little tin soldier was standing close enough to his lady love to touch her, if he could move his arms. So there they stood. He at attention, and she with her arms held out to him. So near and yet so far.
How gallant and brave he looks. If only I could tell him how much I care for him.
How sweet she is. And I thought I'd never see her again. But I dare not reach out to her. I'm still on duty, even if my colors have run.
But the wicked Jack-in-the-Box was not through with them yet. Sensing their loving thoughts, he became enraged.
Gah! Look at them. It's more than I can stand. This time, I'll finish both of them.
With a terrific spring, he swept them both off the table.
What did you do that for?
I didn't touch it.
You did.
Together, the sweethearts lay motionless on the floor.
what you've done.
I didn't touch it.
Well, it's no use now.
And she's no use either. Look at the mess she's in.
I'll throw them in the toy chest. At least they'll be out of the way.
And they were indeed out of the way. And together at last. So you see, you shouldn't ignore toys because they are plain or broken, for they may have a life of their own. And our little doll and her steadfast tin soldier, why, they lived happily ever after.
Come with me, come and see all the wonders there will be in my stories, in my songs, in everything where fun belongs. We'll meet heroes, giants bold, visit lands both hot and cold, have magic tricks to shiver your skin, laughs galore with animals in our world of fun. Pied Piper hums.
Have you ever tried to keep quiet for 5 whole minutes? Well, it isn't easy. But I have a tale today about a brave princess who didn't speak a word for many weeks, even though she was in the gravest danger. She and her 3 brothers were the children of a brave soldier king who had married again when their mother died. Then, soon after the wedding, their father prepared to go on a long journey.
Goodbye, Father. Goodbye, Father. Goodbye.
But unknown to anyone, the new wife was really an evil witch whose one desire was to have the kingdom to herself. Cunningly, she concocted a plan.
Come, children. I'm taking you all down to the lake for a swim.
Oh, what fun! Let's run and get ready.
There's no need for you to come along. They are my children now, and I want to spend some time with them.
Race you under the bridge.
Quickly, the wicked queen did her evil work. Where the children had been, there were only 3 wild swans.
There. But where is that wretched girl?
I didn't join in the race. The water was too cold.
Well, my child, I'm afraid I have bad news. Your 3 brothers have been bewitched, and I must get you away from here before something happens to you, too.
So without even the old nurse being aware of what had happened, the princess was taken away to an old cottage deep in the forest. But still the wicked queen was not satisfied.
The princess has been hidden for a year, and I cannot rest while she lives. Go to her cottage and do away with her.
No word of my brothers. How I long to see them again. Oh, nurse, have you come to take me home?
Alas, no. We must get away. The Queen's soldiers are coming to kill you.
Quickly, this way.
Open up! Search the forest. The princess must be found.
Hurry, hurry. I don't think they'll find us now.
What a strange little lake. I wonder if anyone knows it is here.
Princess, look. There's someone.
I don't see anyone.
Why, yes.
And there in the water were the 3 wild swans.
My brothers.
We must talk quickly. We only have our natural shapes during the time it takes the sun to sink.
Oh, can't we break the spell?
There is a certain stinging nettle which grows only in this wood or in graveyards. Pluck the nettles, weave them into coats, throw them over us at sunset, and the spell will be broken.
That's not so difficult.
Ah, but there's one more thing. From the time you pluck the first nettle until the spell is broken, you must not speak one word to anyone, or we will be lost forever.
We must go now.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Goodbye.
And so began for the princess many weary days of painful plucking and weaving. She had already completed 1 coat and was starting the second, when one day...
What is such a lovely creature doing here in the woods?
She
She can't stay here. Look at her poor hands. Would she come with me if I let her bring her work?
Why, yes, sir, I suppose so.
So the prince gave her a room in the palace, and the whole court wondered about the lovely girl who only braided and wept and wouldn't say a word.
When will you be finished with this cruel task? And why won't you speak to me? You must know that I love you.
And there were others who wondered about her, too.
In the house of your neighbor, the prince, a young girl sits weaving nettles.
Nettles? The only thing that would break my spell. It must be her. I tell you, Your Highness, that girl is a witch. Look. Only a witch would pick nettles in a graveyard at midnight.
Don't you know that the penalty for witchcraft is death?
And I have the surest method for doing away with witches. Bring her to the lake beside my palace and I'll show you.
But I love her.
You can't leave a witch free in the land, and you know it. She must die.
And so the wicked queen prepared for her final act of vengeance, and the princess was condemned to die at sunset. But no one had thought to watch the faithful old nurse.
Come, there's not a moment to lose.
When the vial is empty, fling her into the lake.
No, no.
Suddenly there came the sound of wings.
Into the lake with her.
Free her. She's innocent.
It is true. I am innocent. But I was under oath not to speak until I'd broken the spell on my dear brothers, or I would have lost them forever.
It is she who did it all.
Get away from me!
Caught in her own evil magic, the wicked queen suffered the very fate she had planned for the princess. So at last, the princess and her prince were happy together. And so were her three brothers, who never forgot how their brave sister had been willing to give her life for theirs.